After 20 years of occupation, Afghanistan is back in the hands of the Taliban. How swiftly it came and how easily it happened has surprised almost everyone, including the Taliban. They moved swiftly. From just one city, the rest fell like dominoes, through regional centres and then the bigger cities of Kandahar and Jalalabad. In a matter of days, Taliban militants swept the country until the capital of Kabul and the Afghan army built to protect it melted away. The US and its allies are the latest in a long string of foreigners to try to control the country. All have failed. Now the Taliban are back, will it be just like before?
Thank you very much, everybody. We've had tremendous success in Afghanistan in the killing of terrorists, but it's time to bring our people back home. If bad things happen, we'll go back. I let the people know we'll go back, and we'll go back so fast, and we'll go back with a force like nobody's ever seen.
The former president was sending a warning to the Taliban. If they were to play a bigger role in Afghanistan's future, it would have to be different this time around. A year and a half after the US struck a deal with the Taliban, they now have more power than many had envisaged. In the infamous Afghanistan papers, it became apparent the US government had known for years that the war had become unwinnable. The US and its allies underestimated how difficult the country would be to control. The terrain is mountainous and arid. It's a mosaic of overlapping ethnic groups. The Taliban are from the Pashtun region, home to the largest ethnic group in the country, followed by the Tajiks, Hazaras, Uzbeks and others. The entire country is now under Taliban control, and the group is thought to be stronger in numbers than at any point since they were ousted in 2001, with up to 85,000 full-time fighters. The Soviet occupation of Afghanistan in the 1980s was bloody and brutal. When they withdrew, they left a power vacuum and a civil war. This set the stage for the Taliban's takeover of the country in 1996. Their first regime was ruthless and allowed Al-Qaeda to grow in their midst.
We have unconfirmed reports this morning that a plane has crashed into one of the towers.
Barely weeks after 9/11, the US and its allies invaded Afghanistan. It only took 3 months for the Taliban to lose all their territory. Members sought refuge in Pakistan or hid in Afghanistan.
The history of military conflict in Afghanistan. It's been one of initial success, followed by long years of floundering and ultimate failure. We're not going to repeat that mistake.
But when the US became preoccupied with Iraq in 2003, it split the military focus and its funding. These maps show how much territory the Taliban gained from 2004 to 2009. 10 years after their ousting, they were still a force.
It must be clear that Afghans will have to take responsibility for their security, and that America has no interest in fighting an endless war in Afghanistan.
The US has spent a colossal $2.26 trillion in Afghanistan, $88 billion of which went to training and equipping the Afghan forces. Now they are back in command. Who are the Taliban? And are they the same group as before? Taliban means students in the local Pashto language, a reference to the original 50 members of the group who were students of Mullah Omar, the founder of the Taliban. They were first hailed as saviours. They rid the country of corruption, stamped out lawlessness, and made the roads safe to travel again. But they quickly imposed their own version of Islamic Sharia law, influenced by Pashtun customs. There were public executions, amputations for those found guilty of theft. Men were made to grow beards, Women had to wear burqas. They banned television, music and cinema, and disapproved of girls over 10 going to school.
I think of those young people who never went through the Civil War 20 years ago, who have gotten an education, many of them finishing university. They were the future of the country. They are absolutely terrified.
In 2021, the Taliban returns with a leadership structure already in place and poised to govern. They're led by Amir al-Mu'minin, who is the former Chief Justice. There are 3 deputy leaders and then ministries, much like any government overseeing the military, economy, intelligence. Alongside that sits their own legal and judicial system to enforce Sharia law.
Their properties, their lives are safe. There will be no revenge on anyone. We are the servant of the people and of this country.
Despite assurances, there's little to indicate the Taliban will moderate their strict beliefs this time.
We have already seen news reports that many girls have been sent back from university. A lot of them have been asked to get married, at age 15, 12.
Already, posters of women on shops in Kabul are being covered up. The Taliban released extremists from jail. And in the towns and cities they have taken over, there have been reports of punishment or killing for those who won't submit.
I'm getting a little emotional and I feel ashamed that the 21st century I'm coming back asking Taliban to give us our basic human rights.
The policy is that women can have access to education and to work, and of course they will observe the hijab. That's it.
There's very little leverage now that the West and the international community has, so there's not very much that could be done to punish the Taliban if they weren't to live up to their word in this regard.
As quickly as they came in, the US has left Afghanistan.
We did not go to Afghanistan to nation build, and it's the right and the responsibility of Afghan people alone to decide their future and how they want to run their country.